Hey guys, what's up? Every once in a while, I see people saying that the Scar Predator class is the best one in the game by far, that he has maxed stats, that he has no weakness, that he's overpowered. And no, I don't think he's OP. I don't think there is any Predator class on this game that is OP. The only thing that can be OP for the Predator in certain situations is the Smart Disc, and that is if you have low ping. Otherwise, no. He doesn't have maxed stats. Even if you take a look here, his HP is actually average in practice. I note that while comparing Scar to the base HP Predator in this game, which is Hunter, he does appear having a little bit more. A lot of people don't know that certain classes, the base ones in the game, Hunter, Scout, Berserker, Alpha, and Elder, they all have bullet damage resistance. So in practice, he has the same HP as the Hunter. And his HP is not even maxed. Well, you can compare it like to Mr. Black, which I think the Scar has 1400 HP, Mr. Black has 1500, Emissary has 1650 HP, Amazon has 165, no, I think that 1550. So like all those classes has better HP than Scar. Stamina, a lot of classes have more stamina than him. Let's say I think that Scout, which sure stamina is not enough to carry a class on its own, but there are many classes with more movement speed as well. Exalted and Wolf are more faster than him. Gear points, he's like overall like among the best ones, has the most amount in the game. And he does have weaknesses, which would be like the low perk points, which some people say, you think that 10 perk points is low? I would say that for perk points, the optimal one, like the optimal amount that you need, would be 11, so that you can use the meta combination of downrange, medic, and large punch. That's usually like what I would say like would be like the most effective way to play Hester Predator in most occasions. I just use that perk combination. Scar cannot use that. His other weakness would be, I don't think that he has any besides that. It's just the perk points. He only has one weakness, which I can understand why people say that he has overall the best stats in the game. Because if you compare individually to every single class in the game, I would say that he's gonna win. Like if you're gonna press like a score, let's compare HP, speed, stamina, gear points, perk points. He's gonna beat every single class in the most amount of like superior stats. However, certain stats kind of matter more than others, you know? Like having more gear points, in my opinion, like being able to carry motion attacks, it doesn't make that much difference. So like having either 10 gear points or 13 gear points doesn't really make, in my opinion, that much difference. If he had 15 gear points, then yeah, because then he would be able to bring drones. And that gear is more useful. But if you have like a class that has like 10 gear points or 12 or 11 or 13, like doesn't really matter. But having one more perk point would make much more of a difference than having, let's say, like going from like 10 perk points to 11 perk points makes more of a difference than going from 10 gear points to 13 gear points, you know? And also having more perk points allow for certain perk combinations, which kind of make a class become much better. You know, there are certain builds which, I mean, just if you take a look at the stats here, I would say a lot of people also thought the same thing about Amazon. She has like superior HP, stamina, speed. She has almost everything. People say that her only weakness would be low gear points and a specialization that is not like meta, not a specialization that increases range damage. However, like she is very good for melee. She's the best melee class. However, for ranger gameplay, she can be kind of limited because she, like I said, she cannot bring traps, she cannot bring drones, which are very useful gear, and she doesn't have a specialization that increases melee damage like other ones. So certain stats kind of make more of a difference. I did play Scar in my S tier in my video ranking the party class on the game. So yeah, I agree that he's among the best ones in the game. However, if you're gonna compare to certain others, they can be on the same tier as him. I would say that for new players, I think the new players can like really have a good approach with Scar and have a good performance with him because he doesn't have any significant weakness besides break points. I think that for new players, either Scar or Amazon, if you're gonna want to play ranged, use Scar. If you want to play melee, use Amazon. Those classes would be like the best ones for new players. If I was gonna recommend a class, those would be the ones to use. However, some people might be thinking, oh, but then why did you put Celtic and Pirate and Bionic in the same tier as Scar? Well, I'm gonna compare and then and explain why. Sure, if you're gonna compare just by looking at the stats here, Scar with Celtic, you're gonna see that Scar has more HP, has more stamina, has more movement speed, and has more gear points than Celtic. Then what? Then people, like you think, oh, he has everything better than Celtic, so why would you place them in the same tier? Well, Celtic has more perk points, and also Scar also has more energy. So like by comparing the stats one next to the other, you're gonna see like that Scar has like 5 things better than Celtic, and Celtic only has one better thing than him. However, having 14 perk points kind of made a difference because he can use like perk combinations like this. This perk combination as well, where's Medic, which Scar couldn't do, and this kind of makes more of a difference than being able to bring motion detectors. If Celtic could not bring bear traps, he didn't have at least 10 gear points, then yeah, would probably place him in a tire under Scar. However, that is not the case. And also there is the addition of the drones, which ever since the last update kind of made like a buff to pretty much like all the Predator classes with Analytic, which I actually next video ranking the Predator class, I'm gonna have to change some placings there because yeah, I mean drones with Analytic do help a lot. They can really help with damage because you just get a free damage buff. While Scar, although he has Stalker, which is still a very good specialization, is more limited. You need to be standing still. You need to apply damage or your stamina is full, and that usually can only be done while you're standing still, like charging plasma or attacking people from above while you're not moving. For the playstyle of coming up close and shooting the fighting with the combi or the pistol, you won't be able to get the damage buff as easily as with, let's say, Celtic. Also, another build, which another reason why I would always play Celtic and Pirate in a same tire as Scar, despite Scar having like overall better stats, was because of this pair combination, which at the moment it doesn't work as well as before. I think it was like around November, December. They added so that the fighting can hear the Predator charging the plasma caster, which was not the case. Back then, before the last updates, like last year, I think that was like before November or October, you could charge plasma in front of the fighting, and they wouldn't be able to either see the laser or hear you charging it. So this build here on Chaotic or Pirate was just very useful. And they are classes with a lot of energy, so overall tends to work very well. However, ever since Lens was nerfed, also you only work it in day maps. For Scar, I think that I always told people that Scar was the best class for night maps because in that situation you can all use little lens, you don't need like that many power points, and it's better to just use protection. So I would usually recommend this build here for night maps. So for night maps, I would say Scar was overall like I would say the best one to usually use for people. And now that Lens was nerfed, like this build with Celtic and Pirate no longer works. However, Celtic and Pirate kind of got a buff because of the drones, which I don't like to use that much with Scar. As you guys are gonna be seeing this match, the way that I prefer playing with Scar usually involves the traps. Because if I get someone trapped, I can just attack them while standing still, and I get the damage buff from Stalker. So usually classes with Stalker, I prefer using just focusing more on bear traps. Classes with Analytic, I prefer using the drones. And then there's Bionic. Bionic, which you can bring both. However, I kind of feel like the drones can be very useful. The drones are very useful so that you don't lose track of the fighting, so you can know where they are. However, with Bionic, you won't be able to get the damage buff because he doesn't have Analytic. So, but still, like bringing traps and drones together is a very good combination. It does help assist in the matches, you know. So I would say like the only thing that Bionic has more that is more useful than to Scar would be to be able to bring like the drones. And although Scar has one more power point, it doesn't really make much of a difference because I use the same power combination. So like for perks, they are like equal to me because 9 or 10 perk points, like it's the same thing for me. However, 13 gear points to 15 gear points does make a difference because then you can bring drones, which are much more useful than motion detectors, you know? So Scar overall, very good class indeed. However, classes like Bionic and Pirate and Celtic, I'm still placing that in the same tier as Scar, mainly today because of the drones, because of being able to use the drones with those classes. Celtic and Pirate because they can get the damage buff with Analytic from the drones, and Bionic because you can carry both bear traps and the drones. With Scar, I usually like to use this build, or sometimes I can trade Medic for downrange if I need more damage. If you're going to be playing against people using support, you might need to be forced to use this. I would say maybe for new players that are probably not going to be playing against sweaty fightings, you can use Medic. I would say Medic is just safer, but Scar does have a lot of stamina, so you can usually run away. Medic is more useful, like sometimes in classes that doesn't have a lot of stamina to run away from the fighting, so you're kind of forced to heal up a little bit faster. However, this combination can be very good, especially for night maps. If you're going to be playing in day maps, which has like I would say that usually I feel like it's easier for the fighting to shoot my mask off in night maps because it's just like easier to spot the predator, and you don't want to lose your mask. Sure, you don't want to lose your mask either in both day or night maps. However, if you just feel comfortable like with the way that you play, that you don't lose your mask off, then you can trade this for Modify Reserve. Scar already has like a lot of energy, and then if you put the Modify Reserve, you're gonna feel much more comfortable being able to use Thermal and Cloak together more often, bringing down rage so you can have more damage. It's also a very good combination. Usually the best perk combinations with Scar usually involve 9 perk points. For the gameplay, I like using ranged weapons. I like him to be used for melee. I usually like throwing the combat stick, following with the pistol shots, using the bear traps to trap people at the start of the match or at the reinforcements, attacking them while I'm standing still so I can get the damage buff from Stalker, and stack it with the damage buff from downrange. That's usually like the approach I like to do with him. I usually like use Stalker because of the way that I play. Fervent and Enrage are not bad. Fervent can be good to securing the first skill regardless of like the situation because you're always gonna have the damage buff while there's 4 fighting players standing. Enraged can be very good. It can be very fun because Scar already has like a very good amount of speed and stamina. With Enraged, like you can leap and like you just feel super fast. It can be fun. It's just that it's not as effective because it doesn't increase damage. And I think he already has enough speed and stamina that he doesn't really need Enraged. Like Enraged makes more of a difference in classes like Berserker, which has like low stamina. Like in those classes that are more Berserker like, yeah, it does make more of a difference. But Scar overall, I would recommend it for most people. If I was gonna say which class should you play if you're a new player, Scar is gonna be the most player-friendly Predator. Well, this was easy. The medic was too slow. Oh, I got the double combi tank. Yeah. One guy already left anyway. They finish or let them reinforce. I mean, if another one quits, I'll just finish it now. Oh, the support field medic quit, of course. Oh, nice. They're already reinforcing. Oh, it's inside the caves. Of course it's inside the caves.
Sí, es muy bien jugado.
Refield medics. Dead fast. I want piggies. I want piggies.
Sensor trip. Showing flash. Type of round is stop.
Just doesn't that. Support for the medics are now camping there. So many hits. Many hits. These guys are complete potatoes.
Sam, you very good predator. GG.
GG, thanks. Too many supports. Needs more damage. I didn't even realize they were still two support for medics plus a leader. The guy is gonna, yeah, there, he died now. There's so many downs because of ulti revive spamming. I could already stealth kill the guy. Go down. Get down again. Oh, they all went down. Ah, nice. Anyone with self-revive? Oh, you with self-revive, okay. Everyone! I'll even let you guys reinforce. Just because I have high ping. Oh, he's not using the self-revive? Oh, maybe it's bugged. Not working or self-revive? Try use it now. See? Nope. Ah. Sometimes you get bugged and if you maybe long claim and cancel, it could work.